28th July 2018 is the day we got married in the presence of around 20 people at home. One of the biggest reasons to get hitched early in our life was that we would get to travel together. We were amazed by the idea of slow travel, and so we took off to Meghalaya right after monsoons for half a month on the road. The food, the people, the paths, the sights, and the whole experience only strengthened our desire to travel and experience more places. And just when we thought this was the start of our travel escapades, we finally couldn't hold off and took off for a month in the mountains. Of course, we had to take our work too, cause so I had a few footages and a lot of experiences to share, hence this video. We booked our flights early and thankfully got a cheap ass deal from Bangalore to Delhi and then Delhi to Mundar airport. Nothing like seeing the Himalayas from the top. The airport is one of the cutest and smallest we've ever seen, and so was the plane. There are frequent local buses to Manali and we took one. We were there in early February, which happened to be the end of winter. Since it had snowed 2 days earlier, we were welcomed by fresh snow on the streets. We decided not to take a taxi up to our stay and asked around the locals for a shortcut. Big mistake, but glad we did it. After about an hour of slippery slopes and steps, we reached our stay. We had booked an Airbnb home, hoping to move to different villages every week. It was a lovely place a few hundred meters from the famous Vashisht temple. A room, a fully equipped kitchen, wooden flooring, private balcony, bathroom with hot water, and of course, a room heater. They also had Wi-Fi with power backup, so our work life was sorted. After settling in for a few days, we headed out to Old Manali, Nasoga and Chakoga to house hunt for the next few weeks, but ended up deciding to stay at Vashisht throughout the month. We found Vashisht, or as they call it, Bashisht, to be the perfect place for us because the property was around homes of locals, not at all commercial. It had a great view. We got to mingle with the locals, witness festivals, and when bored, walk a few hundred meters to be entertained by tourists, mostly honeymoon couples and their crazy photo sessions. That's how the locals wash their rugged winter clothes. Most importantly, it had hot springs where we could take bath every day. It's just magical. The water is so hot that after taking a dip for a few minutes, you don't feel cold for 2 to 3 hours. We noticed locals sipping cold Tropicana juice after a bath and tried it, and believe me, there's no other feeling that's comparable to the cold juice passing through you after a hot bath. Bathing there once or twice a day was the highlight of the entire trip, and it's coming from a guy who hates taking baths, so you get it. For food, we had our kitchen stocked for the month for when we were having a busy day. Manali was 2.5 kilometers downhill and easily reachable either through stairs or through the HRTC electric TTs, which were very economical. We tried almost all the cafes and restaurants at Vashisht, but our regular were Nirvana Deluxe and Sujan Cafe. Nirvana is a cool hangout space, great food, amazing service, economical, and on Shivratri we jokingly asked them why they don't have bhang on the menu, and they got us some. Hospitality 10 for 10. Sujan is a hole-in-the-wall place, best momos and chow mein we've ever had, warm folks, quick service and priced right. Luckily for us, the second week it snowed the entire night. We took an unmarked route the next morning instead of the marked trek route to Jogini Falls and ended up between apple orchards. The green grass from the past sunny days were laden with fresh white snow and it was a sight to behold. We were also lucky to witness Shivratri being celebrated by the locals, people from villages pulling in milk into large container to make a drink filled with dry fruits called gota, dressed up in their impeccable goat skin coats and colorful kullu caps. One of our favorite things to do was to trek down to the Bias River and spend time there. Most of our time was spent people watching at Vashisht, sitting on the balcony watching the mountains, taking a trek to the government school up and watch kids play in the occasional sun, exploring little hamlets like Nasogi, Chakoga and Soyal. Now Soyal is a place that stuck with us. It's about half an hour ride from Manali that leads up to a hillock, and it's a small village that has the river water diverted into canals and various farms on the way. Few kids from there haven't even heard of Manali, so you can imagine how raw it is. The last week of our stay, we had more sun and we saw the snow melt down to reveal greener pastures of grass and spring coming into action. Yellow flowers adorned the ground and trees started flowering, ready to turn them to yield. As South Indians who shy away from the sun, sitting under the sun and taking in the warmth was a feeling we thought we would never enjoy. Living up in the mountains has its own struggles and pleasures, but it's a time we will treasure and want it again.